Well, closer to home now, flooding continues to be a major concern for residents who live near the major rivers and streams in the Lehigh Valley. WFMZ's Stephanie Esposito is joining us live now from the Delaware in Easton with more on that. Stephanie.
Yeah, Wendy, right where I'm standing was actually dry less than an hour ago, and now you can see the water is creeping up. And experts say that the river should crest around 1 o'clock this morning. But in the meantime, this flood is already ranked in one of Easton's top 10 floods.
I was in the 1955 flood. I was 8 years old. Yeah, it brings me back memories.
It's very choppy. It just, the minute I saw it, it terrified me. If anybody were to, be going down there in a boat or anything like that, it's very dangerous. You can tell just how dangerous it is.
I think it's pretty neat. I like the raw power of nature.
It looked and sounded like the ocean. But this is where the Lehigh and Delaware rivers meet in Easton. You might not recognize it without the dam. It's completely underwater.
It's pretty high. I've never seen it this high. It's pretty amazing, actually.
The river reached 24.8 feet this afternoon. The flood stage is 22 feet, making this flood Easton's 8th largest historical crest, which might be why it became a tourist attraction this afternoon.
I haven't seen this many people down here in a long time.
Now, again, the waters here are about 25 feet deep. That's 3 feet above the flood stage. And I'm told that for the water to get into Easton's downtown, that'll take about 30 feet of water. Mayor Pancho and the city say that they are monitoring things down here. And although they don't think they'll need to, they are prepared to declare a state of emergency. Stay with us at 6. I'll have much more and a bigger update coming up at 6. Live in Easton, Stephanie Esposito, 69 News.
All right, we'll check back with you then. Thanks, Stephanie. Well, a lot of streets in the area might be confused with rivers tonight. Take a look at Wilson Avenue. This is Bethlehem Township, where floodwaters were creeping very close to houses here. You can see in Allentown, the cameras found drivers trying to make their way through a flooded intersection. This is 3rd and Union. And as you can see, many didn't fare too well. Quite a mess out there. Well, the heavy rains caused a number of creeks and streams in Lehigh County to just burst their banks. WFMZ's Joscelyn Moes has more on that.
As the Delaware River swelled, so did creeks and streams.
We expected something, but not this much.
Heavy rains caused people to keep a close eye on the rising waters. In Lower Macungie Township, sections of Spring Creek Road were closed.
Normally it floods into this park over here. But to see it this way is really, it gives you an idea of how much water we really got yesterday.
John Kruglinski came down to capture the flooded creek.
Got to get it up on Facebook now.
This part of the road looked more like a river. This is definitely a flood-prone zone, although neighbors tell us not usually quite this bad. In Upper Macungie Township, Centronia Road was closed between Trexlertown and Grange Roads. Elda Laudenslager lives nearby.
We seen it coming yesterday already.
The water creeped up onto her property where her son's boat sits.
I said to Ronnie, I says, well, you don't have to worry. You can go out boating.
While homeowners wait for the waters to recede, officials warn folks not to drive through flooded roads because the water may be deeper than it looks. In Lehigh County, Joscelyn Moes, 69 News.
All right, always good advice. Let's get the Schuylkill River to swell. The Schuylkill crested 2 feet above flood stage in Reading. This is how it looked from the Reading Area Community College campus. In Pottstown, Montgomery County, same river, same story there. Flood stage is 13 feet as well, and the river passed that level just after 7 this morning. For a closer look now on what the river levels are out there, we're going to head over to Chief Meteorologist Ed Hanna.
The very latest updated numbers. Good to see you all. Stay tuned to the AccuWeather channel in between our newscasts as we continue to monitor all these levels. The good news is that everywhere, Bern, Reading, and even Philadelphia along the Schuylkill, all those stations have crested and they are receding. Pottstown, it's just a matter of time now. The current level there, 14.0 feet. And the forecasted crest 14.2, so almost there. That's expected to reach that level around 7 o'clock this evening and then recede from there. A little bit further to the east, the Delaware River continues to rise, and that won't be cresting until between 1 a.m. tonight during the overnight hours and on into 7 o'clock tomorrow morning. So if you're heading in that direction, something to be aware of. But the good news, again, Schuylkill, once we get to 7 o'clock this evening, Pottstown will crest, and then all levels will continue to recede. But still other creeks and streams, other smaller creeks are still above bankful, so be aware of that and please be careful. A lot of ponding still out there. 6-day forecast coming up.
All right, thank you, Ed. Well, to check The rivers are rushing in Easton. Floodwaters are now above the Lehigh River Dam, and they're creeping into the waterfront. And that's where we find WFMZ Stephanie Esposito right now. She is alive along the Delaware now with the latest for us. Stephanie.
Wendy, I'm standing right on Larry Holmes Drive, and as you can see over here, the river is creeping up onto the road. It's getting higher and higher, closer to the sidewalk where I'm standing, and it's even backwashed into the street a little bit. The newest water levels for the Lehigh River and the Delaware River right here are 25.4 feet. So it is actually up a few inches since the last time I talked to you back at 5.
I'm just out here sightseeing.
Just to check it out. I want to take my dog for a little walk.
It's the talk of the town. 69 News wasn't the only one capturing the sights.
We just wanted to see how high it is.
And it is high, well over 3 feet above the floodplain. And it's not supposed to crest until 1 a.m.
I pity my poor brother because he owns a bait shop and he lives right by the water.
It's been a long time since Easton has seen raging waves in their rivers, and some are concerned about the potential damage if waters reach Easton's downtown.
It's definitely a concern because, you know what I mean, I'll be out of work.
Water has taken over parts of 611, Lehigh Drive, and Bushkill Drive in Easton, forcing road closures.
We're looking at 25 to 26. When we get to 28 feet, we start getting moderate flooding right along here. 30 feet, we start getting further into the city.
Experts say 30 feet is pretty unlikely, but it will be muddy down on the riverfront for a while. This flood is already ranked as Easton's 8th highest river crest.
Our only area of concern right now is where we are taking on water is at the Bushkill Creek. Beautiful homes right on the creek, and it's just getting up to the middle of their cellar, so hopefully it doesn't get into their first floor.
Now, the river is supposed to crest around 1 o'clock this morning, but experts say that it won't recede back to the floodplain for another 24 hours after that. So stay with 69 News for the very latest. Live in Easton, Stephanie Esposito, 69 News.
All right, thanks, Stephanie. Well, people in Carbon County are keeping a close eye on the creeks there as well. Both the Mahoning and Lizard Creeks are proving to be problems for homeowners and for drivers. In Montgomery County, a similar story. Parts of Pottstown, including Memorial Park here, were hit hard when the Manatawny Creek spilled over its banks. Well, some roads in Northampton County are still off limits tonight. Parts of Wilson Avenue here in Bethlehem Township are impassable. The roads closed between Farmersville Road and Schoolack Drive. Earlier today, police were asking residents to leave for their own safety, though no evacuation order was issued. And in Lehigh County, creeks and streams burst their banks. In Upper Macungie Township, Cetronia Road was closed between Trexlertown and Grange Roads. And in Lower Macungie Township, sections of Spring Creek Road look more like a river today. Some people came down to capture the image of the flooded creek.
Normally, this creek is a tiny little tributary of the Little Lehigh, and this is about the most we've seen in years.
Well, officials are warning people not to drive through those flooded roads because the water may be deeper than it looks. And that was the case in Schuylkill County. A flooded road is being blamed for the death of an elderly driver there. Police say 74-year-old David Salata was killed when he drove around the barricades that were blocking a flooded road. Happened on Route 645 in Pine Grove Township late last night. Police say Salata's car was swept into a creek. By the time troopers arrived, it was too late.